Hey guys, I'm Jordan and you're watching Fixbook. After watching this video, your car problems stand about as much a chance as this laptop does against my hot lead. Now, make sure you stay tuned so you can see what happened to the laptop at the end of this video. And as always, don't forget to subscribe, like, and leave a comment down below. Okay guys, so today I'm going to be showing you how to adjust your valves on your Honda Civic. Okay guys, in today's video I use this long 3/8 ratchet, a regular 3/8 ratchet, a universal joint socket, a 10mm socket, a 17mm socket, and I believe in today's video, when it's time to use the 17mm socket on your crankshaft pulley bolt, I call it a 19mm socket. And I do apologize for that. So when I say 19mm socket, what I really mean is this 17mm socket right here. And then I also use an extension, well, two extensions, and this magnet, this feeler gauge, this 10mm combination wrench, this flathead screwdriver, and also a pair of pliers. Also, make sure you watch all of today's video in order to ensure that you do the job properly. Because if you just skip to the end where I'm adjusting the valve, then you may miss how to get everything lined up to do it properly. So don't just skip to the end and watch the short part showing you how to adjust the valve, because you need to align the #1 cylinder to top dead center in order to be able to adjust certain valves. So watch the video all the way through to make sure you do it the right way. Alright guys, and the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and get these plug wires off, and we're just going to lay them off to the side here, because we are going to be removing your valve cover. So we got to get these off in order to get to that. Oh, that one's stuck on there pretty good. There we go. So, and just kind of lay them off to the side here. I don't know if you can see there, but lay them off to the side so that you can put them back in the way you took them back out, so it won't get them mixed up or anything. Which you shouldn't have any trouble anyways, because it goes from shortest to longest. Okay guys, and the next thing we'll do is we'll remove these 5 valve cover bolts. They're 10mm bolt heads there. So we'll just remove all these. And what I like to do guys is I like to go ahead and break them all loose and then use my extension socket kind of as a screwdriver. It just seems to make it go by a little bit faster, so I'll just do that and then I'll pull them out, and there'll be 2 long ones on the back and the 3 short ones on the front. The next thing I'll do guys is I'm going to go ahead and just kind of squeeze this hose clamp. Get them off there, and then just kind of rock it back and forth like that. Be careful not to hurt the hose. And I'll just pull that off to the side. And then we've got one more bolt over this way with a wire on it. And here's that last little bolt we got. It's another 10mm bolt. Take this off, and then we'll get this wire off so we can set the valve cover off to the side. Oh, and I lost my bolt. It's okay, it's right down there. And guys, I just wanted to take a brief second here to show you here. I dropped my bolt down there, and if you've seen it in my videos before, you've seen me talk about this magnet probably, so I wanted to demonstrate it in action here. So let's say you drop a bolt down in a tough spot, and you should be able to see it down there just barely. You just take your magnet and just stick it down there, and you heard it click, and oh, I'm stuck to something. But look at that, you've got your bolt right there. So if you don't have one, make sure you get one. Put it in your toolbox, keep it there. It makes life so much easier. Alright, now moving on. Once you've got your 5 valve cover bolts off, what you're going to do, and those other 2 things off, you're going to rock it back and forth, and you're just going to rock it there, and this should come right off. And oh, the valve cover gasket is sticking, so I'm going to be reusing this one, so you just want to kind of save it there. And if your valve cover gasket's been in there a long time, and if it's leaking like right around here, now would be a great time to change it. And there's also something here. Just a second. I'll show you here real quick while we're here. If you can see inside this valve cover, there's 1, 2, 3, 4. Those are your spark plug seal type things, and they seal right up around here, right up along your spark plug guide. So when you buy a valve cover gasket kit, it'll come with those 2, and it will also come with these seals as well, so it'll seal the bolt up around the valve cover as well. Okay guys, and the next thing you want to do is turn your steering wheel all the way to the left so your wheel looks something like this. Now, I'm going to get my flashlight, and what you're going to do is you're going to get a ratchet and a socket and an extension, and you'll also need a universal joint, and you're going to get a 19mm socket on your crankshaft pulley bolt. And I'm going to show you what it looks like here. And you may have a cover where you see my socket is that. You're going to need to remove that cover. I'm going to take this down for you. If you don't know what a universal joint is, that's what it looks like. Hold on. It's just going to allow your socket to kind of wiggle around like that. It's called a universal joint, so you can get one of those if you want. If you don't have one of those and you want to go straight shot into that crankshaft bolt, which is right there, I'll put my finger on it here. Let's see, where we go. Right there, right at the tip of my finger. That's the crankshaft pulley bolt. If you don't have a universal joint, what you can do is you can take your wheel off and just go straight onto that crankshaft pulley bolt. And then what we're going to need to do from there is you'll need to spin your crankshaft pulley bolt in such a way that we will put your engine on top dead center. And we're going to need to do this once, and then we'll spin it one more time at 180 degrees on the other side. We'll get it on top dead center one more time. So we'll be putting it on top dead center twice. Okay guys, so in order to adjust your valves, what you need to do is you need to set your #1 cylinder at top dead center. Now I'm going to explain everything so you know what you're doing and why you're doing it, and so I want to make sure you're doing this right. So I'm going to give you a brief description really quickly of how all this works so you know what I'm referring to when I'm referring to it. So right here we got your 1, 2, 3, 4. We have your 4 cylinders right here. What you're looking at here is you're looking at your rocker arms and your valves, which are right down here. Those are your valve springs, but these rocker arms are going to push down on the valve. And right below these rocker arms is a camshaft. And you can't see the camshaft, it's below. But these little round smooth things here, they're silver. That's where the camshaft is spinning, and it's pushing up on these arms, which pushes down on your valves and opens your valves. Now, we need these rocker arms to be loose in order to adjust the valve. And again, when the rocker arm comes over and it pushes down on the spring, and the spring is connected to the valve, and the valve is going down inside your engine, opening up the combustion chamber. So air can come in, air can go out, fuel can come in, kind of cool stuff. So, and we got your intake on this side and your exhaust on this side. Then, another brief description so you understand top dead center is there's 4 different strokes that your piston will make. Your piston is buried down in there. It's in the lower part of the engine. You're not going to be able to see that at all. The best way for me to explain it, simple as suck, squeeze, bang, blow. I know it sounds kind of bad, but it's a way we remembered it in school. So it's going to suck, the piston's going to come down. If you can imagine, it's going in a downward position, and it's going to suck air from the intake. So the intake is going to be, the rocker arm is going to push down to open up the intake valve, and it's going to intake fuel and air. Then it's going to squeeze, it's going to come back up, it's going to lift up, and it's going to compress that air-fuel mixture. Then the spark plug is going to ignite the mixture, and then it's going to go bang, and it's going to come down. And that's where you get your power from. When you hit the gas and your engine is going, the bang, that's where the power comes from. After it's banged, it's now at the bottom, and it's going to come up and it's going to blow. It's going to release all that mess, which is your exhaust. So now that you may briefly understand that, I don't know if you'll be able to understand after I explain or not, but there's 2 different ways the piston can be at top dead center, because there's going to be a squeeze top dead center and there's going to be a blow top dead center. So first we need to get it on top dead center. It doesn't really matter, you're not going to know whether it's on bang or blow, but we're going to get it on top dead center, and what it's going to do is it's going to loosen up these rocker arms so we can adjust the valves. And you can hear me shaking them, that means they're loose. you saw how that one, I shook it and it didn't do anything. So the first time around, like I have it set up right now, we're going to loosen up the rocker arms on the 2 exhausts on this side and then the 2 intakes on this side. So these are going to be loose and these are going to be loose. We have 8 valves we're going to be adjusting. We've got these 2, these 2, these 2, and these 2. Then when I put it on top dead center, number 1 cylinder on top dead center, again 180 degrees out, then this is going to come up and be on the other side. It's either, if it was on the bang, it's going to be on the blow. So then what that's going to do is going to loosen up the rocker arms for these 2 exhausts and these 2 intakes. So that'll loosen up these exhausts and these intakes. So at either time, we're either going to be adjusting these or these. Now, I'm going to show you how to adjust your number 1 cylinder piston to top dead center so you can get it adjusted on both sides and we can adjust the valves. And then I'll show you how to adjust the valves once you've grasped this concept of putting your piston to top dead center. Okay guys, so what we're going to want to do here is come over here and get on our ratchet, and while you're still on your ratchet, you're going to come over here and you're going to find your crankshaft pulley, which is right there at the end of my finger. It's the thing where the ribs are exposed. And right beside it is the belt, and right beside the belt you can see that it's kind of like a gun sight there. You can see it's a metal piece with a triangle cutout, and then as I move the camera you see how that other triangle piece lines up when it's lined up. So that's your gun sight, and that's how you're going to find top dead center. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to spin. You want to spin your crankshaft right until you find the lines here. Alright, now you saw how these lines appeared, and there's 3 lines and then there's that one white line. So give me just a second here. Let me see if I can't get a better view there. Right there. So, oh, there goes my flashlight. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to line up that white line with these sights that I'm provided with. So I'm going to go back, I'm going to spin it back the other way here. Just bear with me guys, this is difficult to do. So you can see now I've got that sight lined up, and I'm just going to spin it there, and you can see I'm almost on there, so I'm going to take it back just a little bit more, and you can see inside right on the inside close to the sights there's a little white dot. That's the dot that you'll actually kind of use. I'm just going to spin it a little bit right there, and that's probably just about right. So looking right here, I'm lining up the sights more. It looks just a little bit off, so it needs to come a little bit more to the left. So once you've got that lined up, you will have your valves and all that good stuff. You'll have the valves for the number 1 cylinder lined up to top dead center, and then we can adjust the first set of valves. Okay guys, and now we're going to be doing the actual adjusting here. And basically what you do is we're going to use this combination wrench, it's 10 millimeters, to loosen the nut here so we can adjust with our screwdriver. And so I'm going to hold the screwdriver piece there with the screwdriver, and it's loosened just enough now to where I should be able to adjust this piece here. So if I turn it right, I'm tightening the lash. I'm making a smaller space in between that rocker arm and the valve. Now if I go left, I'm loosening the space, the lash. So what you need is you need your feeler gauge, and it's going to look like this. And for the exhaust side on this particular application on this Honda Civic, it's going to be 25.25 millimeters. And as you can see here, there's a good amount of drag on the feeler gauge, and that's 0.25 millimeters. Now, oh, and I dropped my feeler gauge, but just for kicks and giggles, I'm gonna loosen it up there. And give me just a second. All is well. So now I'm gonna take my feeler gauge and I'm just gonna stick it in there and you can see now it just kind of freely floats in there. And one more time for kicks and giggles, just so you guys know what you're doing here. I spin it right, and I tightened it, and now I cannot even get the feeler gauge in there. So what you'll do is, I know right at that position that's at about 0.25 millimeters, so I know I'll be able to stick it in there, and it's going to be kind of tough, but there's just about the right amount of drag, which means that is gapped properly, or the valve lash is adjusted properly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick my screwdriver right on there in that position, and I'm going to tighten it up, and right there, just like that. And it is aluminum, so you don't want to tighten it too much. If you're a torque spec person, if you like to torque everything, I think the torque spec is either 14 or 13 foot-pounds on that nut right there, so you could do that. It'd kind of be hard to hold the thing, but you could do that. So now once you've tightened it, you're just gonna take your feeler gauge and feel back in there, and that seems almost too smooth, so I'm gonna go back again. I'm just gonna loosen it up here, and I'm gonna remember that location in my mind here. So and I'm also gonna try and hold it there, but I'll remember the location in case I lose that. So I need to go just a little bit tighter. Now I'm gonna, and it'll move a little bit on you when you go to tighten it, so also just keep that in mind. Take that into account for when you go to tighten it back up here. So I'm going to again take my feeler gauge, stick it in there, and I like that a lot better. That's a little bit tougher, and it seems to be the right amount of drag. So for your exhaust side, it's 0.25 millimeters. For your intake side, it's 0.20 or 0.2 millimeters. So you're going to perform the same steps, wash, rinse, and repeat for all your valves. I believe it's 16 valves total, so you're going to wash, rinse, and repeat 16 times. So that's pretty much it for adjusting your valves. And you also may see now that I have I removed my timing belt cover because I second guessed myself just a few minutes ago. I wasn't sure whether I was doing it right. I went and looked at my information, and I was doing it right. I just didn't want to tell you the wrong thing. Looking back on something I did a year ago, I just want to make sure it was right, and I'm right. So you don't need to remove this, but there is an up thing which shows you which side the top dead center thingy is on. And actually the #1 cylinder is on this side. I told you this side. Sorry about that. That was wrong. I found that out when I looked back at the information there. So it's 1, 2, 3, and 4. And just do everything the same way I said to do it, and you should be good to go. You should have your valves nice and adjusted. So I hope that increases your fuel economy and makes your car run smoother. Maybe it'll take some noise out that you might have. So that's pretty much it for today, guys. I thank y'all for watching, and I will see you next time. Here's what we got after the pistol rounds went through it. I got 6 out of 8, not too bad. So we got one right there, one right there, one right there, one right there, one right there. It looks like something might have hit. I don't know if that was a bullet or not.